Marianne Williamson said, "We must learn to wage peace as effectively as we wage war today." Think about that. We must learn to wage peace as effectively as we wage war. Think about how much money, like do a Google search in terms of how much money we spend a year in this country on the military, or worldwide, how much is being spent on the military, and what proportion that is of the money we spend compared to healthcare and education, etc. Okay, so we must learn a new language, the language of peace, the infrastructure of peace. We must get to know peace and understand what peace looks like, Williamson said. And the interesting thing, you may know this about Marianne Williamson, she advocated, and probably still does, for the Department of Peace. So we had the Department of Defense, and she wanted the Department of Peace, but instead we've gone over here. We now have the Department of War. And we have something called the Board of Peace, which is being blamed for starting the war. So it's a little crazy here. But I'm a proponent for the Department of Peace. I'm a proponent for the bureaucracy of peace. I think it's worth spending money on and time on. Something else related to peace, Reverend Michael Beckwith said his vision, his goal was peace on the planet in his lifetime. Peace on the planet in his lifetime. I like that. Martin Luther King, though, said peace is not merely a distant goal that we seek, but it's a means by which we arrive at that goal. So instead of thinking about peace, that's something that is reserved for when the conflict is over, think about it a different way. Like, what do you think of when you think of peace? I tell you, here's something funny. When I think of peace, I think of three things. I think of peace, just kind of trite. It's just kind of like this peaceful, soft, word. Then I think about the peace symbol and some hippies dancing around. That's like another image I can't get out of my head, out of my soul, right? And, peace. And then I think about peace as in peace someday. Peace is going to happen when all this is over at the end, and we're all going to be holding hands and wondering why we ever had war. I think of Star Trek. Well, no, Star Trek, they didn't have. Okay, we'll forget that analogy. But you know what I mean. So what new definition of peace do we need in our mind? And I think that Martin Luther King was getting at this. We need to have peace as a means of being. Okay. I'll give you like how do we get there? How do we get to this consciousness of peace? One is thinking about this. There's something that Reverend David Bruner said over and over again, and it's so true. If you wish for love, the world all of a sudden doesn't become more loving. The world around you gives you the opportunity to be more love, to be more loving. If you want forgiveness, if you want that, the world gives you the opportunity to forgive. Not the world all of a sudden, people are forgiving you and you're forgiving it's you got to put some effort out. You got to have some skin in the game. When you wish for peace, the world doesn't become peaceful. The world, hey, maybe that's why we're here. We chose to be here in this time of war. We did. And the world around us is giving us an opportunity to be peaceful. And how do we do that? How can we promote peace in the world? Mother Teresa said, how do we promote peace? Go home and love your family. And what she was getting at was, we can do this. Karen Drucker says we can change the world one heart at a time. Well, we're here. You're here right now. A lot of you are just like me. I'm in a room by myself. I am changing myself because I do want to change myself. I want to change my community. I want to change what's happening over on the other side of the world. But how can that be unless I change myself? I cannot have change over there. It's like Mother Teresa also had a quote about rippling out. We can make a wave that ripples out. So I'm starting to wind up here. I'm going to do two things. First of all, I'm going to ask us to, wherever you are in the safety of wherever you're at, let's just affirm a few things. And I'm going to say something and you're going to say it back wherever you are. So first of all, I bring peace to the world. I bring peace to the world. I am an emissary of peace. I am an emissary of peace. When there is a transaction, between me and another, I choose peace in that moment. I choose peace in that moment. I don't need to be right. I don't need to be right. When someone disturbs my peace, I remember that there is something in me. That can never be disturbed. And I think that's a good way to go in terms of thinking about it one transaction at a time, one heart at a time, and that people and events in your life every day are going to be that. It's just as simple as that. How can you add more peace to every transaction? So I'm going to share my screen once more. And there's a poem that I found, a guy named John Rodell, who I've been following, and I'm going to read this to you. It's about 4 screens long. He said, he wrote this recently, and it's almost as if he wrote this for what's going on today. He said, I can't make the world more peaceful. I can't prevent children from having to hide behind desks. I can't deflect a sniper's bullet from turning a spouse into a widow. I can't convince the news to stop turning war into a video game. I can't silence the sound of bombs tearing neighborhoods apart. I can't turn a guided missile into a bouquet of flowers. I can't make a dictator have an ounce of empathy. I can't convince politicians to quit playing truth or dare. I can't stave off a schoolyard being reduced to ash and rubble as it was last night. I can't do any of that. The only thing I can do is love the next person I encounter without any conditions or strings. To love my world so fearlessly that it starts a ripple that stretches from one horizon to the next. I can't force peace on the world, but I can become a force of peace in the world. Because sometimes all it takes is a single lit candle in the darkness to start a movement. Let me be a candle of comfort in this world. Let me burn with peace. So I'm complete, and I'm going to spotlight Amy.
Defensive strikes, bombs raining down in the middle of the night. How do we stay grounded in the spirit within when he with the most guns wins? I bring peace to the world. I choose peace. Let it ripple across the world. Let me be a candle of comfort in the world. I walk through the valley of hope with clear sight, surrounded and enfolded and protected by light. In the midst of difficulty, God is all in me, and even in the darkness there is only divinity. I bring peace to the world. I choose peace. There is something in me that can never be disturbed. I choose peace. Let it ripple, let it ripple, let it ripple across the world. Part of each of us has always known love. There's a presence watching over from above. And when we forget who we are, that's the only sin. Forgetting the divine nature is within. We must put an end to war. We must wage peace. We must learn a new language. We must wage peace. I bring peace to the world. I choose peace. There is something in me that can never be disturbed. Yes, I choose peace. Let it ripple, let it ripple, let it ripple across the world. Let it ripple, let it ripple, let it ripple across the world. Let it ripple, I am a ripple, I am a candle of comfort and love. I choose peace. Let it ripple, let it ripple, let it ripple across this globe. I know I choose peace. In this moment right now, I allow peace through me.
Thank you, Amy. Gosh, oh wow.